Hi everyone, this is Mamta Joshi, Managing Director of Flying Colour Group and Signature Habitat Properties. Being a qualified chartered accountant, tax has always been an area of interest. This podcast is for all those who own properties in Dubai or who are planning to invest in properties. With the inception of corporate tax, tax implications on property purchases and ownerships has been widely discussed. And so today we have Mr. Firoz, who is the tax head of Flying Colour Tax Consultants with us. Welcome, Firoz.
Thank you, Mamta. Thank you for the introduction. In fact, a lot of our clients have asked the same question, like if
Correct.
they have any kind of property investment or if they buy any kind of properties in UAE, will there be any tax on their property investment? Through this podcast, we are going to clarify the generally asked question, the frequently asked questions from the clients, and we will give the full clarity that whether the property investment will be taxed or not.
So, Firoz, that brings me to $1 million question, which all of our clients have been asking for all those who are owning properties in Dubai. Is the rental income taxed on all those properties that they're owning here?
That is very interesting question. To answer to that question, any rental income received by an individual from the property is absolutely tax free. There is no corporation tax applicable on rental income generated by an individual.
So this is a big relief for all those individuals who are earning rental incomes out of their properties here, and even the international clients who are planning to invest for rental returns. But what happens to the profits when these individuals sell their residential properties here?
So, along with the rental income, any kind of capital gain earned by an individual from the property, that is also not coming under the scope of UAE corporate tax.
Right.
When we talk about capital gain, the capital gain means the profit when the individual is going to earn when he or she sells the property.
Correct.
So, rent as well as the capital gain both are outside the scope of UAE corporate tax, and the income is absolutely tax free.
Right. So this is very clear now that be it rental incomes or be it capital gains when people sell their properties here, everything is outside the scope of corporate tax. But say the individual makes 10 million dirhams by way of selling properties here or by way of the rental incomes. Is there any threshold?
There is no such threshold is specified by the tax law. Means any individual who is earning income from the real estate investment is outside the scope. They have not specified whether an individual who is earning 100,000, 10 million, is there any kind of threshold? There is no such threshold. Absolutely, the entire income will come under the outside the scope of UAE corporate tax.
So this is a good news for a lot of individual property owners here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so, are there any limitations in the number of properties that one can own and rent? From the point of view of tax.
So to answer to the question, we need to understand first thing that Dubai government or Dubai Land Department has not kept any limitation for an individual to own the property.
Correct.
Means any number of property an individual can own and earn income out of their property. In fact, UAE government has made lot of welcoming policy for the investors and those who can invest in the property. And this number of investors in this UAE real estate market has exponentially increased since the last of couple of years.
Agreed.
On the other part, when you specifically asked in the point of taxation, is there any limitation? So from the taxation point of view also, there is no such limitation that an individual can own only a limited number of units. An individual can own any number of units, earn any number of income from that residential accommodation or residential properties, and the income is absolutely tax free. So to short down these three questions which you asked, rental incomes are tax free, capital gains are tax free, they can earn any amount of income, they can own any amount of unit.
Right. But there is an interesting twist here. We've encountered a lot of our clients who wish to own these properties under a company structure for limited liability reasons and so on. So, what are the tax implications when such incomes are received under the name of a company?
So far what we have discussed is based on a cabinet decision. That cabinet decision number is 49, which is published in 2023. So
Right.
cabinet decision number 49 of 2023 is clearly explaining that if an individual is owning a real estate property and getting the rental income or any type of gain from that property, there is no corporate tax applicable on that.
Right.
On the other hand, if there are certain investors who want to buy the property in their company name and they're gonna set up the company in limited liability structure or any other kind of structure. So if they are buying this property in the company name, the standard tax rules are applicable on the company.
Right.
Now, why someone should go and buy the property in the name of company? Certain situations that also make sense, mainly when we check on the tax residency of the person who is going to invest in the property.
Right.
So, depends on the tax residency, depends on certain other factors. It still makes sense to buy the properties in the name of company. However, if the properties are in the name of company, whatever the income the company is making by
Right.
way of rental or capital gain, it is going to be taxed as per the standard tax rules. So, standard tax rules, it is very clear that if a company which is making a profit after deducting all the expenses, if that profit is above 375,000 dirhams, that is going to be the excess profit is going to be taxed at 9%.
Right.
And if the profit is below 375,000, they still pay zero tax. Also, because it is a very new taxation in UAE, the UAE tax authority has announced a small business relief, which is particularly to support the startups and the small businesses. That means in the first 3 tax years, means 2024, 25 and 26 generally, if the revenue of the company, so basically if a person is buying a property in the name of the company, whatever the revenue, it can be either the rental income or the capital gain.
gains. Right.
So this income in an year, if it is less than 3 million dirhams, in the first 3 tax years, they are going to pay zero tax irrespective of their profit. If I give you an
Right.
example, let's say you bought a property in the name of a company and you got, let's say, 2 million dirhams income revenue from that property, and this revenue is coming to your company.
Right.
Let's say you incurred like somewhere around 500,000 expenses. That means you are going to have 1.5 million dirhams profit in the company. In the standard rule, it is telling if your profit is above 375,000 dirhams, you're going to pay 9% tax.
Correct.
Because your revenue is less than 3 million dirhams, which is 2 million dirhams, you will pay zero tax in the first
So
three
this
tax
is a
years.
very big relief. Right.
Yes.
Right.
So that there are certain reasons people are buying the properties in the name of company. Apart from the limited liability company you mentioned, there is a special structure called foundation,
Right.
which is mainly people are using for asset succession and there
Yeah,
kind of
succession planning.
yes,
and
some kind of tax.
inheritance.
Also, there are some tax benefits attached that we need to have a detailed discussion. Maybe we can discuss on a separate podcast on the topic
Right.
where the foundation and the taxation for the foundation.
Correct. Correct. Thank you. Yeah, makes sense. So that brings me to my next question. There are a lot of property owners who give their properties to management companies who eventually find the tenants, collect the rental amounts, and they charge a service fee. So, what are the tax implications of the amounts that are received by such individuals from the management companies?
So, the answer for this question was actually not certain until the last week of April 2024. In Dubai, the Federal Tax Authority conducted a workshop. It was almost last week of April 2024, and exactly the same question came in the picture as a frequently asked question. So the Federal Tax Authority clarified that if an individual who is having certain number of portfolio of properties, it can be 1, it can be 10, whatever number of portfolio, if they are not able to manage that property and if they are appointing a third party property management company, so basically that property management company will be arranging the tenants, collecting the rents, managing the entire
Right.
property. So the owner of the property is not involved in the property management. It is entirely outsourced to a property management company. Now what the owner will be getting, whatever the agreed rent between the property management company and the property owner. So from the property owner's aspect, so the property
Right.
owner who is an individual, in that aspect, whatever the rental amount he is going to get from the property management company, that also comes under the outside the scope of UAE corporate tax. So this is very well clear in that Federal Tax Authority's workshop.
So, Firoz, most of the clients, especially the international clients, they are not only looking forward to understand and get an advice on which properties to invest, what time they should exit and sell their properties, but in fact, a lot of other aspects like what we discussed today, in terms of how to sort out their residency, what are the tax implications, so on and so forth. So they're basically looking forward for a full 360-degree angle in terms of how they could penetrate the market here.
So we flying color and signature habitat properties. We not only limit our clients just buying the property and selling the property.
Right.
Way beyond, we help our clients to structure their properties. What kind of structure they need
Correct.
to follow. What do they require any kind of wills, asset succession planning, foundation, bank account opening. Maybe it can be corporate or individual bank account opening, or let's say setting up company if they are planning to buy the properties in the name of company. What are all the taxation implication? What are all the compliances they need to take care? So as you rightly mentioned, we will not stop just for buying and selling of
Right.
the property. We further assist our clients with all the 360-degree angle services where actually a real estate investor is looking for.
Correct, correct. So thank you so much, Feroz, for a very insightful discussion, and we look forward to seeing you all again in the next podcast.